Miss Bilamari. I'm the captain team of Côte FC from Seychelles. We may come from different corners of our continent and we may speak different language, but we are all African. We are one family. We are one nation. We are all God's children. God bless Africa.
My name is Wayne Robinson, captain of Mamelodi Sundowns from South Africa. We may come from different corners of our continent and we may speak different languages, but we are all Africans. We are all one family, we are all one nation. We are all God's children. God bless Africa. Thank you.
Do it. Welcome you to the Lucas Masterpieces Maripa Stadium in Atteridgeville. CAF Champions League action for you tonight in round one, second leg. And visiting Côte d'Or from the Seychelles will be hoping to cause something of a shock and fight back against the Mamelodi Sundowns, who beat them 2 weeks ago in the Seychelles by a healthy 5-0. So set to get underway at the Lucas Masterpieces Maripa Stadium. CAF Champions League action for you tonight. Mamelodi Sundowns against Côte d'Or from the Seychelles. Let's run through the two teams for you, starting with the visiting team then. Jean-Paul L'Esperance as the match referee from the Comores gets us underway then in Atteridgeville, just to the western side of the capital city, Pretoria. Twani, lovely ball played through into the penalty area. Great opportunity early on for Mamelodi Sundowns, and Jean-Paul Esperance was caught absolutely napping, and his defence letting him down rather badly there as well. Good pressure from Mamelodi Sundowns in the opening minutes of this encounter. Mamelodi Sundowns will have a corner as well. We'll give you the team sheets as the starting lineups as soon as the play settles down a bit, but a brisk start from Mamelodi Sundowns, wanting to clear the match. Well, the medical staff coming on, so there's an injury to one of the Sundowns players. So let's go through that lineup again. Jean-Paul Esperance, the 29-year-old goalkeeper of Côte d'Ivoire. Right back is Olivier Bonte. Bendit Marie in defence with Marcus Rose in the centre of defence. Bendit Marie is the captain, he's 26 years old. Jones Joubert on the left side of fullback side. Cesar Andrew, Peter Edesina, Kasa Voavu in the midfield with Fredem Randia Masaina, Perry Monai, and Tony Kazito, the 25-year-old international from Uganda who plays his football in the Seychelles these days. First corner kick of the match then for Mamelodi Sundowns, easily dealt with by Côte d'Or, who play in the white colours with the orange stockings, and they defend the goal away to the southern end of the ground, playing from right to left. Mamelodi Sundowns in their traditional Brazilian colours tonight, defending the northern end of the Lucas Masterpieces Moripe Stadium, making 4 changes from the side that won by 4 goals to nil, or 5 goals to nil away from home. Mapunda with a brace, Leke grabbed a goal, Mkulise and Arendse as well, and with the exception of Mapunda, all the other goal scorers are in the starting lineup for Mamelodi Sundowns tonight. Nice little push towards Tapela Morena, one of the changes, and offside between Vilakazi and Morena. It's a little bit sloppy from the 26-year-old former Celtic right-sided fullback. So let's run through the team for Mamelodi Sundowns then. There's a change in keeper with Rayhard Petersen sitting on the bench, and Kennedy Mwine, the 34-year-old Zambian international, will take his place. Tapela Morena then also in at right back. He's one of the 4 changes made when Arendse at centre back with Mojeka Madisha, and Laila Kay will play on the left hand side. Tebogo Langerman on the bench as well. Opamandisa, Andile Jali, Spelele Nkulise in the middle of the park. Themba Zwane back in the starting lineup with Leandro Serino, and Sibusiso Vilakazi will play up front as well for Mamelodi Sundowns tonight. Adventure already from Tapela Morena, and he's looking to do the same again. Sibusiso Vilakazi in lots of space here, putting a challenge on the fullbacks of Côte d'Or. Andile Jali enjoying some game time, the captain of the side. Wayne Arendse with a touch. Mojeka Madisha wide to Leke. Oh, lovely bit of space to Themba Zwane. Leke will look to get down the flanks as well. Well, miss in front of goal by Sibusiso Vilakazi. It's the second miss in the space of just 3 minutes from Mamelodi Sundowns. They certainly will fancy themselves. I fancy Mamelodi Sundowns to equal the score that they managed to achieve in the Seychelles, winning by 5 goals to nil just 2 weeks ago. Andile Jali. You can expect that it will be all attack from Mamelodi Sundowns. So Vilakazi, beautiful work, gets behind Marcus Rose. Tidied up by Peter Adesina. The side in white doing all of the defending at the moment. I can't imagine it was any different when they played in their home ground just a couple of weeks ago, 13 days ago. Mamelodi Sundowns barely been pressurised at all as Côte d'Or sit behind the halfway line. You can be sure that as soon as they do settle down, there will be some foragers from the visiting team. Tony Kazito is a well-known striker around the African continent. Prey Monai with him up front. Freedom Randia Misaina also adding the pressure to the Côte d'Or attack today. And how much of the attack are they going to be allowed to perpetrate with Mamelodi Sundowns, even with the 4 changes? They do make lots of signings, and the reason for that is that for the last 4 seasons, if not more than that, they've been on the road in the CAF Champions League. Winners in 2016, losing semi-finalists in 2019. This is the 2019-20 campaign. First run for Leandro Sereno. Across the face of goal by Spilele Mkilise. Beautiful work on that right-hand side. Look at the pace from Mamelodi Sundowns as they look to unlock the defences of Côte d'Or for the first time. There's only a small band of supporters on the far side of the field here in Atteridgeville. Mamelodi Sundowns supporters, but they're wonderful voices. Ball given away to Leandro Sereno. Unselfishly lays the ball off to Andile Charlie. He's not able to make too much with it, and once again it's Mkulise who's closest to it. Mamelodi Sundowns applying all manner of pressure. And so far, Côte d'Or have been able to hold on. 6.5 minutes into the first half. Ball poached away again by Mkulise. Leandro Gaston Sereno. Mkulise. Zwane switches over from inside left channel to the inside right. Much more accustomed to liking him on the inside right channel, to be honest. Jali with a pirouette. This is Opa Manisa. Well, defensive work being done by Peri Monai. It just shows how far back behind the halfway line even the strikers are for the visiting side from the Seychelles. The defence done by Kasavawavi, the 27-year-old midfielder. Could be an easy night for Kennedy Mwine, just as it was for Reinhard Pieterse 13 days ago. He might even get his first touch of the ball here, and does. Experienced campaigner, it's Kennedy Mwine. Andile Jali to Pella Morena. Jali again. There's barely been a touch from the Côte d'Or side. The pressure coming from the left-hand side from Mamelodi Sundowns again. Nice dummy from Lion Lacaille. Stabs it in! Zwane will find the back of the net for the opening goal of the match. Temba Zwane benefiting from that corner kick from Mamelodi Sundowns. It's their second of the game, and a lovely little back heel knocks it past goalkeeper Jean-Paul L'Esperance. We'll keep you informed of the aggregate scoreline as well, but Mamelodi Sundowns 1, Côte d'Or 0. 6-0 on aggregate. Don't forget that Mamelodi Sundowns, if they win this on aggregate, and it certainly looks likely now, particularly that they've scored the opening goal of the match, adding to the 5 that they scored away from home, will make it to the group stages, because that's the next passage of that will take place in the CAF Champions League. As far as the CAF Confederation Cup is concerned, where losers of the first round proper drop down into the round of 16 winners of the CAF Confederation Cup. It will also take place this weekend. They will play against the CAF Confederation Cup round of 16. And Themba Zwane running into space again. Jean-Paul Esperance equal to the task this time, the 29-year-old goalkeeper. So the South African team, TX Galaxy, that won the South African Nedbank Cup, as there's a bit of pressure arriving on the edge of that Mamelodi Sundowns penalty area, and he's looking for a penalty. There is Tony Kazito. Nothing from the match referee. Ali Mohammed Adelaide from the Comores. He's 39 years old. He's been an international referee for all of 10 years. And the last match he officiated was in the CAF Confederation Cup, where he refereed the match between Nkana and Al Hilal. That was won by the Red Devils of Zambia by 2-1. That was on the 13th of February. It's a nice cool evening for a little jog on the park at a beautifully contoured pitch here in Atteridgeville. Opa Mandisa trying to push it through to Zwane once again. Zwane's looked full of running this evening. We've even had a couple of misses from Sibusiso Vilakazi, but so far so good for Mamelodi Sundowns, who lead by a goal to nil. Tapela Morena. Again, he just able to scoot his way past Kasavawavi. Although he's a midfield player, he's doing a lot of defending so far in the early stages, and the defence absolutely packed to capacity from the Seychelles team. There's Themba Zwane once again. Gaston Sereno, little change of tactic. Tapela Morena. Offside against Mamelodi Sundowns. Well, so far in the first half, Côte d'Or have shown some good discipline. 12.5 minutes into the match, except for that little angled run from Themba Zwane, the black flick that took the ball past Jean-Paul Esperance for the opening goal of the match. They earned a free kick for the first time as well. Tony Kazito on the move. Munai a little bit more static, but one of the very few times that Côte d'Or have been inside the half of Mamelodi Sundowns so far. Easy pickings for Kennedy Mwine. We did suggest it could be a very easy evening of goalkeeping for the Zambian goalkeeper. We'll see how that pans out. But all of a sudden, just a little bit of confidence here from Côte d'Or. Tony Kazito into the fore. A little chip forward by Randria Misaimina. Wayne Orenser, nice little chip in towards Themba Zwane. Vilakazi wide once again. Morena arriving on the right hand side at the back post. Certainly the healthy advantage that Mamelodi Sundowns has allows Pitso Mosamani to experiment a little. It's going to get a little tougher in the next rounds, there's no doubt about that, when the group stages are announced, which teams arrive in which pools. Jacob Madisha on the defensive for Mamelodi Sundowns. Understandably very cool, calm and collected from the Sundowns side, and they've had so much success on the African continent, winning the Champions League in 2016 and losing semi-finalists last year. Can they get something out of this move? Maybe a little bit too enthusiastic on that left-hand side. Lovely play from Lila Kay. Gaston Serino also making his presence felt. Ball kept in play by Jones Joubert. There's almost a South African tinge about Jones Joubert. Lots of Jouberts, no doubt, around the general Tshwane Pretoria area. Wayne Orenser just playing at will. Mamelodi Sundowns. Tapela Morena, Vilakazi, Zwane, cut out by Joubert. Another opportunity in front of goal, and surely Vilakazi will tuck this one away. Well, he doesn't. That's 3 opportunities that he's missed. Not the most glaring of them. Ball arrives beautifully. His balance seemed to be just a little off kilter. Didn't really attack the ball as well as the coach might have wanted, and that's a little disappointing from a highly experienced player. He's 29 years old. Up to now has played most of his football at Bidvest Wits, but that wasn't the greatest of moves from Sibusiso Vilakazi. Vilakazi with the touch. Serino. Free kick taken quickly. Tapela Morena. Serino again doing a lot of fetching and carrying. Nkulisi. Back to Lakay. Once again, there's space just on the edge of the penalty area for Zwane, and he loses concentration. And again, Vilakazi misses the target. 17 minutes into the match, 4 opportunities for Vilakazi. And already the fans around the stadium are calling for him to be replaced. Whether he's over anxious or whether he's just having an off night, one can only find out, I suppose, in post-match interviews. But wow, it really has been an evening of opportunity so far for Sibusiso Vilakazi, and already Mamelodi Sundowns could have, should have been more than just the 1 goal in front that they are at the moment. Jones Joubert, with support from Vuwavi. Nice cutback from Andile Charlie though from Mamelodi Sundowns. Now Zwane looking for Serino. Cut out by the captain Bendit Marie. Mamelodi Sundowns are certainly dictating the pace of the game. No great hurry at times, but when they do push forward into that attacking third, they've got a tremendous injection of pace, and this man more often than not provides that injection along with Themba Zwane. Nkulisi also has a massive injection of speed near the penalty area. Nice dummy from Vilakazi. Oh, the keeper spilled it, and an easy tap in by Gaston Serino will provide Mamelodi Sundowns with perhaps the easiest goal they've scored in a while. Again, a fabulous display of interchange of passes by Mamelodi Sundowns, and they benefit once again. Only Vilakazi's not going to get on the score sheet. His teammates certainly suggest that they are going to do the business. 7-0 on aggregate now for Mamelodi Sundowns. One would find it very difficult to find anybody betting in favour of Côte d'Or making it through into the group stages of the CAF Champions League this time around. They didn't play in 2019 2019. (2018-19) campaign is Mojeka Matisha. Just give the front-running players a little bit of a respite and getting their breath back. It's been helter-skelter up front for Mamelodi Sundowns so far, and we've only had 20 minutes played, already leading by 2-0. Serino once again, Nkulise, Zwane, and finally Vilakazi, after the 5th time of asking, will sweep the ball into the back of the net. Opportunity try to get to Vilakazi. Mamelodi Sundowns proving that they're going to be a bit of a handful in the group stages of the CAF Champions League. 21 minutes played, leading by 3-0. Zwane, Serino, Vilakazi, with the exception of Nkulise, just about all the front men have scored. Zwane once again. This time Gaston Serino will give up the chase early. Goalkeeper Jean-Paul Esperance will be happy to see the ball disappear over the halfway line, and almost immediately it's Sundowns back on the attack again. Gaston Serino, Vilakazi, Serino! Almost made as if he was going to pass the ball onto the right-hand side to Temba Zwane, and just flicked it towards the goal, just pushing it past that right-hand upright. Casito's had a few touches tonight, but they haven't been the crucial ones that he's wanted, and certainly haven't been anywhere near the goal of Kennedy Mwine, who's just had a couple of touches on the ball so far. Zwane, now Serino, Nkulise, Vilakazi, offside flag stays down. Vilakazi with a brace. Sundowns 4-0 up and 1 away from getting into double figures. .24 minutes played, Mamelodi Sundowns lead by 4-0. A brace from Vilakazi, and goals from Serino and Zwane as well to open the account. 9-0 on the aggregate scoreline. Mamelodi Sundowns will be preparing themselves physically and psychologically for the long trips that take place once the group stages get underway. And there's Vilakazi again. His confidence now back on tracks, and so is 2 goals that he scored. Look at the space available to the former Wits man, Gaston Serino, trying to trick the goalkeeper. Unfortunately, just overcooking things a little, the man who played at Bolivar. In fact, the new signing, Maurizio Prieto, a 32-year-old centre-back, also played for the Bolivar club, and perhaps there is a connection between the two that led to Prieto joining Mamelodi Sundowns. You can understand the size of their squad as well. Besides the size of the squad, they also signed a number of players, like they did with Jody February from Ajax Cape Town just recently, and loaned him back out to Cape Umoya in the Glad Africa Championship, the first division in South Africa. Cape Umoya beating Steenberg United, the newly promoted side, to the professional ranks in the only match that was played in the South African leagues today. There is a league match taking place tonight in KwaZulu-Natal. But we concentrate on the CAF Champions League. Looking to make it another impactful season. Mamelodi Sundowns. Andile Charlie linking up with Opa Mandisa. Mojeka Madisha. It's just not even a touch coming from Côte d'Or at the moment. Just completely one-way traffic, and leading by 4-0 before the 25 minutes mark will lead to this match turning out to be a training ground exercise. Not to be in any way disrespectful to Côte d'Or. Clearance from Bedit Marie, the captain of the Côte d'Or side. There's just no pressure being exerted at all up front, and such a big bridge as well between the defence and the attack. Nice work done here again by Tapela Morena. There was a foot that was thrust in there as well. Kasavawavi, I think it was, that led to the free kick that was awarded here by match referee Adelaide. Tapela Morena once again. Flicked away by Rose. Pick up in midfield by Peter Edesina. Nice couple of passes put together suddenly by Côte d'Or. But even if Mamelodi Sundowns had to go to sleep and not make much of the rest of the match, enough damage has been done. I'm sure they'd love to grab another goal to get into double figures on the aggregate scoreline. Vilakazi ghosting in behind the defence once again. Looking for Gaston Sereno. Finding Gaston Sereno as well. Lakay on the overlap. Side netting. It's going to be a corner. It's a good save from L'Esperance. So the corner taken quickly. Sereno might have been a deflection on that. Certainly there was. It's another corner for the home side. Côte d'Or making it through into the Champions League in 2013-14 and 2016-17. On both occasions they lost out in the opening round, the preliminary round. First time they've been through into the first round proper. Tempeswani. Away by Bendit Marie. Opa Mandisa. Interesting with all the big players knocking forward. Opa Mandisa and Andile Charlie was playing as central defenders right now. The containing midfielders for Sundowns today. Here's Wayne Arendse. It's cut out nicely by Jones Chupa. Now Tony Casito. Easy pickings for Lila Kay. Little run from Kulise. Tempeswani was in space, and Kulise doing a little pirouette in front of the defence. Well watched there by Bonite. And it was almost a glimmer of space for the hat-trick by Sibusiso Vilakazi. You could hear the crowd gasping in the background. Tempeswani. Absolutely nothing in the way of attack coming through from Côte d'Or at the moment. That's Gaston Sereno once again. Tapela Morena in space. Again, good work done by Umkulise. Vilakazi. Nice couple of touches here from Côte d'Or. Out towards Perry Monai, the 22-year-old striker, wide on the left-hand side. Moreno, though, will have it back for Sundowns and loses it almost immediately to Monai. Not afraid to run at his opponent. And a clip on the ankle as well for one of the South African defenders. Could be Modisha. Côte d'Or do have a free kick from that situation, and Modisha would probably argue the point to the fact that he was injured in the process of trying to prevent Monai from getting close to the penalty area. The free kick to be taken by Peter Adesina. Would be fabulous for the visiting side if they were to pull a goal back, and certainly would silence the singing of the Mamelodi Sundowns supporters to a point, I suppose. He's left it to the captain. Has Adesina, and Bendit Marie can't bend it at all. Goes straight past the right and upright of Kennedy Mwine's goal. In the meantime, Vilakazi, Nkulise, ball bounces kindly for the former Bidvest fit striker. Close range effort, hit it against the post, own goal saved off the line by the defenders. And Côte d'Or living vicariously. Sundowns will have another corner. It is a mighty close run thing. Headed away by Peter Adesina. Chance to run by Monai. Cut out by Aronsa. Nice work by Mkulisi. Zwane. Vilakazi. Can't thread the eye of the needle, and Côte d'Or have almost appeared to have adopted an attitude of, well, we got ourselves into a mighty pickle, so we're just going to go for broke. See if we can get something out of this match in the way of goals. Ndile Jali, the referee, calling a halt to play just for a moment. I think it's Mkulisi who's down injured in that previous little push forward, and a suggestion from Sibusiso Vilakazi that maybe a substitution should be made. "12 minutes before we have first half stoppage time in Atteridgeville. Mamelodi Sundowns doing the business early with goals in the 9th minute, and 20th and 21st, 24th minute as well. A brace from Sibusiso Vilakazi. Maybe there'll be a precautionary look at that injury. Don't want to risk too much in a match of this magnitude, where there's really not much more to gain than the 4 goals that have already been scored. It looks like Themba Zwane that's coming off. We'll confirm that for you in just a moment. That is Mkulisi, who looks as if he's going straight down the tunnel into the dressing room. I think there'll be a little chat with the coach, Pitso Mosamani, before that happens, though. He's got his own plan, of course. Themba Zwane with a little down to 10 men at the moment. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference, to be perfectly honest. Sereno with a little layback to Vilakazi. Touched away by Peter Adesina. Jones Jupiter looking for Kazito, and Modisha has to be well aware of that situation. Kennedy Mwine, easy to Opa Mandisa. And Mamelodi Sundowns still haven't made the change they were looking to make with the injury there to Mkulisi, the 23-year-old former First Division player, played at Richards Bay FC. Coastal city on the northeast coast, just about 100 kilometers or so up the coast from Durban. Zwane might have been offside. That's a clattering challenge. The offside decision will have preference, though, but Marie, the captain of the Côte d'Or side, very, very heavy on the challenge. Now the substitution is going to be made by Mamelodi Sundowns. And interestingly, Peter Mosamani is bringing on Alela Nonna. So with Alela Nonna dropping into the right back position, it will allow Tapela Morena to push forward into the right wing position that was previously held by the now injured Spilele Mklise. Just a little rejig in the formation of Mamelodi Sundowns. Certainly doesn't do anything to weaken the team, that substitution. Badisha. Ndile Jali. So much space available for a first touch for Anela Nonna. Hugging the touchline, easy to Tembazwani. Not quite the delivery his teammates were looking for, and a look over his shoulder from Sibusiso Vilakazi. Opamanisa. Sereno going for glory again, and Mamelodi Sundowns just going through the motions at the moment. They got the match pretty much under control with 7.5 minutes remaining until half time. Fans enjoying a good Friday evening out at the end of the month. Incredible to think that next week is already the beginning of October. Anela Nonna looking adventurous. Space for Villa. They're looking for a handball here as well. They're going to get a corner out of it. Mamelodi Sundowns and no more. Really was a tremendous campaign in the 2018-19 for Mamelodi Sundowns. Gaston Sereno, Arendse, Vilakazi, hat-trick. Well, he missed 4 opportunities early on in the match. Zwani and Sereno scoring goals, but since then it's all been Vilakazi. Completes his hat-trick with about 6 minutes to play before we get to first half stoppage time, of which there might be just a little bit, because don't forget there was an injury to Spilele Mklise, who has left the field of play and been replaced by Anela Nonna. Dropping into the right back position for Mamelodi Sundowns, allowing Tapela Morena to push forward more on the attack for the home side, and they have reached the double figure mark on aggregate against the Islanders. Ndile Jali, Opamanisa, Lila Kay. Absolutely nothing coming back from the Islanders at the moment. Zwani with a little touchback. Gazito looking half interested in chasing that, and very nearly catches up to the ball before it reaches Mojeka Madisha. One thing that coach Peter Mosamani will not want is any complacency. Away by Marie. Chased down by Vilakazi. He's done well here, Sibusiso Vilakazi, not only scoring goals but defending space as well. Nonna, Sereno. I think Sereno was looking for the run down the touchline by the substitute for Mamelodi Sundowns, but the defence of Côte d'Or seemed to be very, very well organised at that point. Zwane now. The pace of the match certainly not the same as what it was in the beginning, but they possess so much skill. Do you remember that Sundowns that the injection of pace can come at any given time near that penalty area? Just as an inkling of a gap allowed between the defenders of Côte d'Or, and they get themselves into trouble. There's 3.5 minutes remain before we enter first half stoppage time at the Lucas Masterpieces Maripa Stadium in Atteridgeville. Emily Sundowns lead by 5-0 tonight. The hat-trick from Sibisiso Vilakazi, and they lead by 10-0 on aggregate. Arendse will clear. Pick up from Villa. This is Andile Charlie. Vilakazi once again. Charlie exchanging passes. Now Opa Mandisa. It's all very purposeful from Mamelodi Sundowns. Now ball wide here to Lake. Sereno. Still Sereno. And somehow turns Jupiler, manages to get a foot on the ball. Atmosphere absolutely sensational tonight, as we've seen so many times from Mamelodi Sundowns. Vilakazi, fantastic goal! Tapela Morena gets himself on the score sheet. Moved up front after the injury to Nkulise. On that right back, Moreno up front. And a decent cross towards him. He's a tall man, finds him in space. He makes no mistake as he hits the ball past L'Esperance. Mamelodi Sundowns 6, Côte d'Or nothing. Monla wants a piece of the action. I'm not sure whether it was meant to be a cross or a shot. Goes out for a throw-in, not even for a goal kick. It has been a very, very dominant performance indeed by the defending South African League champions. Even though they have that injury substitution, it still does give Pitso Mosimane an opportunity to employ some different tactics in the second half if he requires to do that. There will be some concern about the injury to the young Nkulise, and so a precautionary situation, taking him off the field of play and replacing him with Morena, beg your pardon, with Ngonla. Kizito still not able to make any progress even over the halfway line. Côte d'Or. We are 10 seconds away from first half stoppage time in Atteridgeville, and the Comoran referee, I can't imagine, will add too much in the way of stoppages. In fact, he adds none whatsoever, not even with that break for the injury to Nkulise. So half time then at the Lucas Masterpieces Maripa Stadium in Atteridgeville. It's Mamelodi Sundowns who lead over Côte d'Or by 6-0. Goal from Zwane and Sereno and Morena, a hat-trick from Vilakazi. And we'll be back for the second half in about 15 minutes time, so don't go away. Mamelodi Sundowns rampant at home tonight. You join us once again at the Lucas Masterpieces Moripe Stadium in Atteridgeville, CAF Champions League. Round 1 proper. Second leg, Mamelodi Sundowns leading by 6 goals to 0 at half time. And 11 goals to 0. 11 goals to 0 on the aggregate scoreline. Morena! Good save. L'Espérance. Danger isn't over yet. It will be now because the offside flag's gone up on the far side by Mr. Hamadi Ibrahim. I don't think the referee saw it initially. But if the goal had been scored, it wouldn't have counted. This must be absolutely fabulous for the chairman of Mamelodi Sundowns, Mr. Patrice Motsepe, who's out of the country at the moment, but watching on live streaming. Put such a lot of work and energy over the last few years, or over many years, in fact. His wife has the Motsepe Foundation. Lots of development football happening from that point of view. There's the ABC Motsepe League, which is the highest amateur level. The winners of that league make it through into the Glad Africa Championship, which is the first division in South Africa. So the Motsepe is all around doing a fantastic job in the development of South African football. Mamelodi Sundowns not making any changes at half-time. Côte d'Or also not making any changes. They only have a bench of 5 players, 2 of which are goalkeepers, Côte d'Or. So we're not going to see too much in the way of changes, I don't think, from the Seychelles champions. Tapela Morena manages to work himself away from Cesar Andrew. Andile Jali goes wide to Ngonga. If you've only just joined us, and then Ngonga coming on with the injury to Spelele Mkilise, who went off, allowing Tapela Morena to go from right back to a striker's role and scored a header just before half time to add to the hat-trick from Sibusiso Vilakazi and goals from Zwane and from Gaston Serino. Mamelodi Sundowns will have the first corner kick of the second half to add to the 6 that they enjoyed in the first. Sibusiso Vilakazi, Gaston Serino. Zwane off the crossbar. Matisha makes no mistake. Sundowns have 7. Just as in the first half, Mamelodi Sundowns creating problems for Côte d'Or early in the second. It took Zwane 9 minutes in the first half to open the scoring, and then goals in the 20th, 21st and 24th minutes. Vilakazi wrapping up his hat-trick in the 39th, and then a goal in the 43rd minute by Morena. Matisha adds his weight to it just 3 minutes into the second half. That's 12-0 on aggregate. 12-0. And these are champion sides from the respective countries. Zwane left the ball behind. Again, very much of a defensive effort. I must commend Mamelodi Sundowns for not taking their foot off the accelerator. Yes, we might, in the final 20 minutes of the match, see the training ground exercise come back into play. But what we are looking for is consistency. And we certainly are seeing that from Mamelodi Sundowns today. So when the ball is amongst the back 4, lots of control, lots of just putting their foot on the ball and composure and giving the front men a little bit of a breather. And when they do push forward, there's so much pace. We've spoken about that during the first half. Over the top from Opa Manyisa. Seen the angles that Mamelodi Sundowns have run. Little chips. I mean, Zwane with his opening goal, little back heel pass, L'Espérance, that opened the floodgates for what was to follow. And 6-0 at half time turns into 7-0 just 3 minutes into the second half. Matisha, who's just scored a goal, doing some defending. Little kick on the ball there as well by Lyle Leke. Forward by Ngonga. Tapela Morena. Just for a moment, there's a little bit of hesitation. He gets absolutely clattered into by the defender on that side. I think it's Jones Jabber, the left-sided fullback. 35-year-old experienced player, and referee quickly over to try and contain any emotions that might spill over, but certainly it did look like the Seychelles player cut down the Mamelodi Sundowns attacker on that side, Tapela Morena. There's already been one injury, and this must be the biggest fear for Pitso Mosamani. It's one thing being able to go through a match and be able to execute well in front of goal, as they have done tonight, with 7 goals coming in the 51 minutes that we've been able to enjoy here in Atteridgeville tonight. But there's always going to be the worry that there will be challenges of that nature, mistimed, and you want to stay away from injuries in a situation like that where you're absolutely dominant, but unfortunately wasn't the case on that occasion. So Tapela Morena will receive medical attention on the far side of the field. It appeared as if the guilty party was Kasa Vawavi for the Seychelles champions. Free kick for Mamelodi Sundowns. Left-footed option available then for the South African champions and former African champions. Serino had so much space available, sweeps it over the crossbar. There was just a little bit of pressure being exerted on him by Marcus Rose. Côte d'Or want to make a substitution and bring on the defender Sergio Barra, 25-year-old defender. And he'll come on for Tony Kizito.
Jersey number 9, Tony Kizito, in number 4, Sergio Barra.
Well, if that's not an indication of sending up the white flag and capitulating altogether, when you take off your leading striker and bring on a defender, even more reason for Mamelodi Sundowns to be happy. Maybe it's just a quest to not have any further goals scored by the rampant South African outfit. Matisha, Andele Ngonga. Morena back on the field of play after receiving medical attention, and Gaston Serino just running a little bit of interference. Handball from the Côte d'Or captain just outside of the penalty area. He'll pick up a yellow card for deliberate handball. Well, Bendit Marie. There's absolutely no doubt that it's going to be tougher matches to be played by Mamelodi Sundowns once the group stages gets underway. It's going to be a couple of weeks before that takes place, though, because we do have the losers bracket. The 16 teams that lose over this weekend in the CAF Champions League drop then to play the winners of the CAF Confederation Cup, and then the winners of those matches then going to the group stages of the CAF Confederation Cup, and the winners of the round that's being played at the moment will go into the group stages, which has been increased from 2 pools of 4 to 4 pools of 4, and 16 teams in total. Gaston Serino, lovely little feed through. Zwane looked to be on target. Côte d'Or, anyway will do as long as it's a clearance. So 4 groups of 4, 16 teams in total once it reaches the group stages, but the CAF Champions League teams will have a little bit of a rest while they wait for the CAF Confederation Cup to play catch-up, and then we'll have the announcement of the 16 teams that will represent their respective countries in both of those fantastic competitions. It's nice to see the change of format. It does give an opportunity for some of the minnow sides to participate a little bit further than maybe the preliminary round, which was the case for Côte d'Or in both 2014 and 2017, where they couldn't make it past the first stage proper, but this time around they were able to. Mamelodi Sundowns making it past AS Atono from the Congo, and Côte d'Or moving past Fomboni of the Comores on the away goals rule. Mamelodi Sundowns winning 5-2 over the Congolese outfit and into the first round proper. And now we can see exactly what it takes to be in the first round proper as Mamelodi Sundowns put their visiting side to the sword. 6-0 at half-time, +1 with the Medisha goal. Clearance from Arendse. Ngonga finds open Manisa. Morena on the charge. Good defending though by Bendit Marie. It's a nice intervention from Mantile Charlie. The ball didn't even make the halfway. It's all Mamelodi Sundowns, has been all Mamelodi Sundowns from the start of this encounter. As Charlie will find Leke. Sundowns will play as a left winger. They've got so much talent on the left hand side. Mamelodi Sundowns, Tabako Langeman started as a left winger, playing as a left sided fullback after his move from Bidvest Wits a number of seasons ago. Upa Manisa will continue the complete domination from Mamelodi Sundowns. We're still only 12 minutes into the second half, so it leaves a lot of time for Mamelodi Sundowns to prize open spaces and maybe for Côte d'Or to get himself organised. Sereno to Villa. Oh, it's lovely play from Mamelodi Sundowns, and that's another. Anela Ngonga comes on as a substitute, scores a goal. Fans of Mamelodi Sundowns will never get tired of cheering for goals and celebrating out on the far side. Almost looks as if Pitsa Mosamani's been sent off. I see him disappearing down the tunnel. Well, it seems like Pitsa Mosamani's even been substituted. He's gone down the tunnel. Injury to one of the Côte d'Or players. 8-0 tonight. 5 goals to nil. 13. Unlucky for Côte d'Or, but really a terrific performance from Mamelodi Sundowns tonight. Started with Zwani in the 9th minute. Sereno 11 minutes later. And then Vilakazi scored 3 in a row, 20th, 21st and 24th minutes. Beg your pardon, 21st, 24th and 39th minutes for Vilakazi. Sereno scored in the 20th. And Mamelodi Sundowns led by 6-0 with Morena converting 2 minutes before half-time. Adding to the damage then, 3 minutes after the restart, Medisha. Now, most recently, 10 minutes after the Medisha goal, Ngonla gets himself on the score sheet as well. Well, if they weren't a beaten side when they got on the aeroplane to come to sunny South Africa, they certainly are a side that are hanging their heads now. One can understand why. 13-0. Back underway then in Atteridgeville. We're not even an hour into this match, so more than half an hour still remaining. Some good foraging on that occasion, and successfully by Kasavawavi. And that's nice pressure being exerted by Kyle Lila Kay. Trying to work inside Olivia Bonte, the right-sided fullback. Madisha. Jolly has it back to Madisha. Nobody really making any runs at the moment, and some good shuffling from Côte d'Or at the moment. But Mamelodi Sundowns not playing it any great pace right now. Prepared to stand on the ball. We've had an hour of football played in Attridgeville. Sundowns lead by 8 goals to nil, by 13 goals to nil in total. That's Gaston Serino. Space on the edge of the area for Jali. Jali. And nobody making a run off the angle into that Côte d'Or penalty area. There has been a lot of running from Sundowns tonight. So are we going to be treated to a training ground exercise for half an hour? They probably deserve to. Mamelodi Sundowns just made the one change with that injury to Mkulise. Tony Kazito making way for Sergio Barra for Côte d'Or. Only 2 changes that have been made so far. And again, the ball not even getting into the danger zone for Côte d'Or. That they do have an opportunity now. A little push in the back from Opamandisa. And a free kick taken quickly by Côte d'Or. Not able to hold on to the ball for too long, however. Timbazwani gets the better of Freedom Randria Misaina. It's very much a Madagascar name, isn't it? Timbazwani. I think the instruction to the players of Mamelodi Sundowns must surely be, don't get involved in one-on-one situations. It certainly would be if I was the coach. I'm certainly not the coach by any stretch of the imagination, but I reckon as a matter of caution, because there's so much football still to be played, not only domestically for Mamelodi Sundowns in the defence of their championship, but on the continent as well. So they don't want to have too much of an injury list. Still the Domestic League Cup to come into action in South Africa. Then the FA Cup of South African football as well. Vilakazi trying to make some ground. It's going to be a free kick for Côte d'Or. The hat-trick man is a little over-enthusiastic. The wonderful singing of the Mamelodi Sundowns supporters out on the far side of the field continues, and I'm absolutely sure that the chairman himself, Mr. Patrice Motsepe, will be delighted with what he's seeing. This is Gaston Serino. Opamandisa. The support from Mandile Charlie, but he's got different ideas now. And this time there is a run into the area. And that is another goal. And Mamelodi Sundowns score number 9. In fact, it has been disallowed. Tapela Morena thought he'd had a brace, but unfortunately there was a little bit of pushing inside of that Côte d'Or penalty area, so the celebrations short-lived. And how Mamelodi Sundowns, I fancy, would love to get into double figures on the night. We spoke about Mamelodi Sundowns pushing towards getting into double figures, scoring 5 away and 5 at home, and 10 goals to nil on aggregate. Well, they've been able to achieve that before half-time, and so maybe a 10-0 home victory would be something rather special. Madisha. Anelet Ngonga. Tembazwani. Again, very comfortable on the ball. Just about 20 minutes into the second half, till 25 minutes remaining in Attridgeville, and celebrations have been ongoing since the 9th minute when Zwani's little back heel got the better of L'Esperance. Couple of good passes from Côte d'Or. Little chase on for the veteran Wayne Arendse in front of Munai. And Kennedy Mwine gets, surely his first touch of the second half. And it's come 20 minutes into the second phase here. Nice touch from Tapela Morena. Let's see how much Lyle Kay's pushed down this left-hand side more and more throughout the course of the second half. Sliding challenge from Bonti. Andile Jali. This is Lakay. Zwane. Nice little angle ball to Jali. Gap was covered by Cesar Andrew. There's still space on the edge of the penalty area for Vilakazi's pop. Zwane looking for a second. The appeal for a handball as well. The danger is not over yet. This is Lakay. Sundowns fans thought that was a handball. Comoran referee was closer than everybody else. Off the field of play, of course, naturally. And they'll continue the build-up through Wayne Arendse. Wilma Melody Sundowns. Madisha. Lakay. Well, they're headed in the wrong direction from Côte d'Or this time. No damage done from Marcus Rose. And L'Esperance is wide awake to that little danger. Lakay under pressure here from Kasa Vawavi. And that'll be a throw in to Côte d'Or as well. Well, they're in no great hurry to come and take it, are the Seychelles champions. Finally, it will be the 31-year-old right-sided fullback Olivier Bonte who will take it. I fancy he'll have another bite at the cherry, and Temba Zwane disputes it with the near-side assistant referee, Mr. Suleiman Ameldine. Nice touch now from Randria Basiana. Getting himself into a bit of space where they can maybe unleash towards the goal of Kennedy Mwine. That didn't last too long. Madisha will clear. Gaston Sereno's got a bit of pace about him. So Mamelodi Sundowns player that's down in absolute agony near the halfway line. Pitsa Mosamani back on the bench is palpably unhappy. Andile Jali trying to port something out to referee Ali Mohammed Adelaide. And I'll have to come back to the halfway line because the player's injured down there. I think he's summoning one of the Côte d'Or players into his office, is Mr. Adelaide. It was a pretty brutal challenge near the halfway line. And players from both sides gesticulating in all directions. Meantime, the fans continue to give voice to what has been a celebration of goals, a celebration of football tonight. So Tapela Morena it is, gets back to his feet after that clattering challenge. Again, no action taken by the Comoran referee, who to be perfectly honest has allowed play to continue. But when you have a challenge like that, and it's not the first time we've seen a challenge on Tapela Morena, don't forget early on in the second half on the edge of the Côte d'Or penalty area there was a similar challenge on the converted right back, now striker. Again, no action was taken by the officials. Bonte runs out of space and ideas. Lakay. Wayne Arendse. And Nelen Ngonga. Upamandisa through the middle. Gaston Sereno. Temba Zwane. quick exchange of passes between the Sundowns players. Now the Ndile Charlie will stop it for a moment. Leke, 20 minutes remaining. Sundowns dominance, 8-0 on a night. Gives an indication of the dominance of the South African champions. Zwane again. Ngqongqo had gone down the right hand flank, a little chip inside here from Ndile Charlie. Finally poached away by Jones Joubert. Left-sided fullbacks had a couple of touches. Kennedy Mwine signals to his defenders in front of him that there's no reason to panic with that long ball, and then played out quickly to Eli Leke, who decided to call it an early night. He was caught out. Not sure, one of his brighter moments. Easy for Kennedy Mwine under pressure from Perry Monai. Clearance from Marie. This is Leke. Good presence from Vilakazi, who now with the introduction of Tapela Morena up front had dropped more into an attacking midfield role. I'm sure he'd love to add to the 3 goals that he scored already. A wonderful occasion for him, because don't forget, in the space of about 10 minutes at the start of the match, he'd missed 4 clear-cut opportunities. Makes up for it, getting his head together and his feet. Contributes with a hat-trick in the first half. Not often we'll find in the game of football a player converting a hat-trick in just one half of the game. Ngqongqo continues to push forward, and when he pushes forward, Opa Manisa drops into that right-back position, but Ngqongqo is looking more and more adventurous, playing as a right winger and then dropping into the middle of the park alongside or just behind Tapela Morena, but just alongside of Vilakazi. Tapela Morena, Timber Zwane. L'Esperance will contain the threat. Mamelodi Sundowns will be in action on Wednesday night when they make the long trip of 500 kilometers up to the Thohoyandou Stadium in Venda, where they take on Lidoroduba Black Leopards in the South African Premier League. The side they play against will have a match prior to that against another local team from the centre of South Africa, Bloemfontein Celtic, on Sunday afternoon at the same venue. So a couple of tough matches for Black Leopards. We've just appointed a new coach in Luke Amal, who was with the Free State Stars, the side who were relegated last season. It's all very interesting in the South African League, with coaches coming and going. And Côte d'Or want to get something going in their own right. Kassa Boavi trying to penetrate past, and now recovering Leke. He's caught napping a little while ago, but he's back on track, I fancy. This is Bonte, and that'll be easy for Leke. I think his goalkeeper might be calling for it as well. Might be a little challenge from Monai. No, there isn't. Look at Vilakazi's fetching and carrying from Gaston Serino's the target. He's got good skill on the ball, fantastic pace as well, Gaston Serino. Gets away from Bonte. Vilakazi with the dummy. Serino could have done better. Should have done better. Only 2 goals in the second half, and I use that very reservedly. Don't forget there were 6 goals scored by Mamelodi Sundowns during the first half, and that's not to say that there hasn't been opportunity. I just think they're being a lot more cautious, and certainly I think the situation of contesting one-on-one challenges is not quite there for Sundowns, and rightly so as well. Not when you're leading by 13-0 on the aggregate. Zwane with a layoff. Morena, Zwane! It's a brace for Zwane. Mamelodi Sundowns now just one goal away from double figures on the night. It's been a tremendous performance. Zwani with a brace, Vilakazi with a hat-trick. Goals being spread around between attack and defence. Monai on the challenge. And Mwine has had a few more touches potentially in the second half than what we saw during the first. Gaston Sereno receives from Vilakazi. Oh, it's an own goal from the captain! Bendy Marie gets the double-figure goal on the night for Mamelodi Sundowns, who lead by 15 goals to nil now, 10-0 tonight. Substitutions happening thick and fast, and we'll confirm that for you in a moment. I'll tell you that Pakamani Mahlambi, the former Bidvest Wits and Al Ahly striker, has come on for Leandro Sereno, who scored a goal in the 20th minute of the match. It's a substitution for Côte d'Or as well, with Ivan Sidras coming on for Perry Monai. So a striker for a striker. He's 24 years old, is Ivan Sidras. And Mamelodi Sundowns looking to make a further change, but before that happens, the match referee will want to get play back underway. Ten goals to nil on the night, 6 in the first half, 4 in the second, 15 zip in total on the aggregate scoreline for Mamelodi Sundowns. A more emphatic you won't get in a hurry. Ball picked up here by Peter Adesina, and that's a nice little run through the middle as well. And a goal! A beautifully taken goal by Kassa Bawavi. The fans aren't happy with that. Maybe it's a consolation cheer for the supporters in here in Nashville. Well, finally, Côte d'Or show just what they're capable of, and that's why they're the league champions. So Maurizio Afonso Prieto, a 32-year-old Uruguayan who played at Bolivar, the same club as Leandro Sereno, will make his appearance here. So Tupela Moreno makes way, and the 15-goal advantage for Mamelodi Sundowns is down to 14. I don't think it's going to make too much difference at the end of the day. We're only 10 minutes away from second half stoppage time. Timbazwani, Vilakazi with the touch. And that'll be a free kick for Mamelodi Sundowns. I'm sure there's a couple of players that would love to get their name on the score sheet. Pakamani Mahlambi, one of them. Interesting when he left Bidvest Wits and signed by Al Ahly, the club of the century in the previous century and 8-time CAF Champions League winners, but beaten by Mamelodi Sundowns in the quarterfinals in the previous campaign by 5-1. Didn't last too long in Egypt. Cultural differences and missing home. Pakamani Mahlambi finding space in the Mamelodi Sundowns camp, comes off the bench tonight. So free kick time. Ball takes a deflection. And away for what will be another Mamelodi Sundowns corner. We've yet to have a corner kick for the side from the Seychelles. Having said that, they do have a goal. And they have the most recent goal as well. It's corner number 9 for Mamelodi Sundowns tonight. Tembazwani looking to entertain. Arendse with a knockdown. The second ball not picked up though by Mamelodi Sundowns, and a little chase back here by Pakamani Mahlambi. It's a good little pickup from Sibusiso Vilakazi. All 3 of the substitutions made now by Pitso Mosamani. Contador still have one change they can make. Lekay. Zwane. It's a nice little touch from Zwane. Vilakazi. Nice defense from Ivan Sidras. It is going to be a corner though for the home side. Well, their goals are in double figures tonight, followed shortly by the corners, which are also up to double figures, and 10 corners to nothing. Just 10 goals to nothing a few moments ago until Boavi cracked in a wonderful right footer past Kennedy Mwine. I don't think he'll be too happy with that. Headed goal by the new man, Maurizio Prieto. Welcome to Mamelodi Sundowns.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause. First goal, number 9, Mauricio Afonso. Sundowns 11th goal.
Mamelodi Sundowns lead by 11 goals to nil, by 16 goals to 1. Don't forget the 1. And it's scored by Boavi in the 79th minute, but now we're in the 83rd, and Prieto scores on debut. Chance for another goal. Certainly looks like it. Good away. Clearance is by Bendy Marie. The 11th corner shortly follows the 11th goal of Mamelodi Sundowns. And Prieto made himself available, but wasn't able to make the contact he was looking for on that occasion. Now scrambling back in defence, Mamelodi Sundowns, but there's nothing left in the legs of the Cottador side, to be perfectly honest, and a lone ranger in Kaba Vowavi, and well done to the 27-year-old right winger for whipping that ball past Kennedy and Mwine for the consolation goal. He's looking for something again. Pick up from Opomanyisa for Mamelodi Sundowns. There will be absolutely no sense of panic whatsoever. 11 goals to nil on the night in their first round proper of the CAF Champions League. It is champions against champions. It just shows there is still a void in African football in some countries. Boavi looking for the pickup. Easy defence by Mamelodi Sundowns. Just so in control of everything that's happening at the moment. We're 5 minutes away from second half stoppage time in Atteridgeville. Lekay, Opomanyisa, Nelengonga. It's a delightful ball to Prieto, and He didn't go for goal directly, he was knocking it down to Vilakazi. I'm quite surprised. He had so much space and time, the Uruguayan. I thought he was going to head towards that top left-hand corner of L'Esperance's goal. He didn't. And tired legs of the Côte d'Or players, not allowing Ivan Sidras to chase after that. In fact, Sidras shouldn't have tired legs at all. He's the most recent of the substitutes for Côte d'Or. But yeah, it just shows the mentality of the Seychelles champions. And, well, if you were trailing by 11 goals to nil, 16 goals to nil on aggregate, then maybe you'd all feel the same way. The sun will rise tomorrow, and they'll feel a lot better. Good defending from Marcus Rose. The referee turns away from the appeal of the South Africans. I think he's had a fairly good game as a 39-year-old from the Comores. Might have been maybe a little bit stricter on the challenges that led to the injury of one Mkulisi, and secondly the double challenges that we saw on Morena. Zwane looking to indulge himself, closed down by Randria Maisana. There's only one side on the pitch at the moment, metaphorically speaking, of course. Themba Zwane has done so much running tonight. If there were to be a Man of the Match award, well, one would find it difficult not to give it to Vilakazi, who's denied here by L'Esperance. But the amount of work that's been done by Themba Zwane would certainly, on another day, maybe add him, have an accolade for the 30-year-old former Aces winger. They'll have another corner, Sundowns will. Just continuing to mount all manner of pressure. Is there space for another goal? Oh, it barely is on my score sheet, which is just about full in the column that suggests goals for Mamelodi Sundowns. 11 of them in total. A hat-trick for Vilakazi, a brace for Zwane. And Arendse looking to get on the score sheet. He's offside. So hat-trick for Vilakazi, a brace for Zwane, goals for Sereno, for Morena, for Madisha, for Nwana, and an own goal from their captain Marie. And Prieto comes on and bags the 11th goal for Mamelodi Sundowns. Boavi, don't forget, with that consolation goal for the Islanders. It was a really good piece of work from the diminutive right winger come striker, getting in behind the defence and whipping it past Kennedy and Wine, who no doubt is going to take a bit of flack from his teammates. What about a clean sheet? Well, sorry about that. And again, it's Boavi. He's the closest man to the big Zambian goalkeeper. Forward by Manisa. Manisa again. Jali. Villa. Very happy with his performance as it developed over the course of the match. Leke. We have a minute remaining until second half stoppage time. I can't imagine, just like in the first half, that there will be too much. And even with the injury to Mkulisi, the match referee from Comores took pity on the players and said, well, that's it. The moment the clock ticked to the 45-minute mark. Can't imagine it could be too different here in the second half. 6 goals in the first half, 5 goals in the second, 5 goals away from home. You do the maths. Sounds like 16 to me. However, don't forget that consolation goal from Boavi. It was a thing of quality. No clean sheets when you score 11. I don't think there'll be too much in the way of complaints, that's for sure. Zwane forward. Prieto. This is Andile Jali. We are in second half stoppage time. We do have 2 minutes added on by match referee Adelaide. Two components of the match returning to the idyllic islands. The Comores for the match officials. And the Côte d'Or side will move back as well. Now the match referee signaled 2 minutes to be added on, and then he blows the full time on the stroke of 90 minutes. Well, some of the fans in front of us are sensing that they're shortchanged. I can't imagine there'll be too many complaints though from Côte d'Or. A rather strange end to an entertaining match. And Sundowns almost want the match to continue, which is rather strange in their own right. 6-0 at half time. Hat-trick from Vilakazi, Zwane Sereno and Morena adding goals there. In the second half it was Matisha Zwane with his brace. An own goal from Marie. Prieto with a goal on debut. And Vawavi scoring a consolation goal. It's all over in Attridgeville, and rather quiet and strange end. I thought it would be rather raucous here at the final whistle, but I think because the referee blew earlier than anticipated, it's a bit of a damp squib. And I think that they're all and sundry, including the chairman himself, will be delighted with the scoreline. One hopes that the injuries picked up by Morena and by Khaleesi will not be as serious as what they look, particularly the one from Khaleesi, although he did manage to walk down the tunnel. He wasn't taken off on a stretcher. But a solid performance from Mamelodi Sundowns, who scored a brace through Mapunda away from home. Lakayam Khaleesi and Arendse scoring goals there. But tonight, I think it will be Arendse and Zwane who will be the most applauded with a hat-trick and a brace respectively. And the goals spread rather nicely amongst the starting lineup and the bench players, including Prieto, who came on. Don't forget that consolation goal though for Casa Vawavi, who broke down the right-hand side, whipped the ball past Kennedy and Mwine. But at the end of the day, there was only one side really in it. 5 goals away from home, 11 at home. Mamelodi Sundowns win comfortably over Côte d'Or, and we'll move into the group stages of the CAF Champions League. It is Mamelodi Sundowns on the aggregate scoreline who win this one by 16 goals to 1.